Welcome! In this video I'm going to show you a quick and reliable method to sample your synths and MIDI gear and get them into your sampler. Maybe you're sitting on a ton of analog synths or some other MIDI gear and you want to be able to use those sounds within the Kontakt sampler, or maybe in Ableton Live, Bitwig Studio, Logic, or some other kind of DAW sampler. And especially sample editing can be a very tedious task. That's why we're going to use an auto sampler. If you're on a Mac and have Logic Pro, you can obviously use the built-in auto sampler. But if you're on Windows or using some other DAW, it can be really great to use a free software called MPC Beats. Right, so first out, before we do any sampling, we have to do the correct connections to our MIDI instrument. And in my case, I'm using the Novation Summit, so I have the Summit hooked up via MIDI over USB. And then we have the audio outputs from the Novation Summit into my audio interface. And today I'm using the AudioFuse 8 Pre to record the Summit. So that's basically all we need to do with the connections. So let's head into MPC Beats and look at how we do the auto sampling. First out, make sure you're on a MIDI track, and we need to activate the MIDI port. Then you want to make sure that we have a MIDI out port and the MIDI out channel active. For the output port, I'm going to select my MIDI instrument, and that's the Summit, and the output channel can be 1. Then let's head over to the audio track, and we need to make sure that we have the correct audio inputs for this track. And in my case, I'm using the stereo input pair 9 and 10. And an important thing here is to activate the monitoring for the input. So we're gonna change off here to in. And now we should be able to hear the Novation Summit. Right, so next up we head up to the tools and we select the auto sampler. And we can see that we have the inputs already selected, 9 and 10, and the note range will be from C2 to C4. And the note stride is basically the skips between every sampled note. So with a note stride of 6, we're gonna first sample a C, and then it's gonna sample an F sharp. So in conclusion, if you want to sample more steps, you just decrease this number to maybe 3, and you will get like more refined sampling. But I'm gonna set this to 6, and we're gonna sample the max note C4. Yeah, we can take C5 instead. In the velocity tab, we can obviously sample different velocity layers. So if you have an instrument that responds to velocity, you might want to activate these and sample more layers, but I'm gonna be satisfied with just sampling 1 layer today. Then we can set the note length, and it's currently set to 3 seconds. I'm gonna extend this to 5 seconds, and we're gonna have a tail of 3 seconds, or 2 seconds, 2.3. And we can give it a base name. Let's just name this Summit Sound. Now, an important step here before we trigger the auto sampling, make sure you have the MIDI track activated here in MPC Beats. And let's head up to the tools auto sampler again. And we'll go down and just press do it. And sit back and relax and wait while the machine makes all the sampling for you. Yeah, so the sampling went well, and we can see all the samplings here in the samples list. And if we double click on the samples, we can actually see them here in the wave editor. Now the next thing we need to do is select file and save a project as. And we're gonna name this Summit Patch. And press save. Now head over to the project folder and jump into that folder, and we can see all those files. And now we can just drag these samples into our favorite sampler. So first, we're gonna try that in Bitwig Studio. So we're just gonna create a new track and add a sampler. And drag all these samples into the sample window. Maybe give it a little bit more release. And let's add some Valhalla Supermassive on that. to get some sweet effects. Yes, you can see you can save a ton of time if you're using an auto sampler to get those sounds into your samplers. Right, so let's try the same samples in Logic Sampler. So let's go into Logic and we load up the sampler multi-sample stereo. And head over to the mappings and drag in our samples. And here we can drag up and down to make them cover more or less keys. So we need to make sure that this starts at C2 and the next sample at F sharp. And then we can also extend this downwards and top sample upwards. So I think we have the wrong C key. It set the root to D, so we need to change this to the C. This next one to F sharp. So it's just 2 semitones wrong. And we can do the same like setup here to extend the release. To suit this sound better. Oh, and let me know in the comments if you'd like to download these patches that we made in this video. And I'll show you a quick trick to get a really nice stereo spread on your sounds. You can go and add the delay, sample delay, and you set the delay to milliseconds and set the right one to maybe 17 and the left one to 0. And you get the super wide sound. And finally the Valhalla Supermassive. Right, so that's basically all you need to know to get your MIDI gear into your DAW and samplers. If you like my tips here, please let me know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe and hit that like, and make sure you hit the notification bell so that you get a notice as soon as I drop new videos. I'm Mattias, thanks for watching today, and see you in the next video. Bye!